shit up. Then spend it, it's nothing, okay. We gon' run that shit up. Run that shit up. Then spend it, it's nothing, okay.
Man, y'all know what it is, the real Two-Tech.
And your man, Marathon, man.
All praise to God.
For everything, and I mean everything.
And this is another episode of The Real. And tonight, y'all, we got a special guest in the house with us tonight. Miss Kayla, or should I say MachineBodyFit. Let me ask you this. What you want to go by?
K.
Okay, K. I respect that, K. So listen, y'all, before we start every interview, we always do the mental health check-in. How you feeling mentally? How's your night? How was your day? How's everything? Talk to the people.
Today has been good. I feel good. I feel grounded. My Monday started off phenomenally, and I feel like that's so important. You know, just embarking your week on a good note.
Absolutely.
So I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for having me.
Anytime you're on the real.
Welcome.
How about yourself, Mr. Marathon? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm gonna keep this short. For one, I'm blessed, right? But I love to keep it real sometimes. You know, I started my week off a little bit overwhelmed with just having a lot on my mind and whatnot.
For sure.
And you know, sometimes that kind of like puts me in a little bit of a slump. But you know, something that I did to help me was go around my mother and father, spend some time with my sister, and kind of like she said, like, you know, ground me a little bit. So I woke up today feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But I'm blessed, man, and I appreciate it.
Sometimes you need communication.
Of course. Big facts, Kay.
How about you, my boy?
Like I always say, man, and I've been saying this from the beginning of time. Put my 2 feet on the ground, it's a win. Like I can't complain, ain't nobody gonna listen to me. So I'm just blessed to be here and blessed to be doing this podcast with Kay, my brother Manny. So this is gonna be a good one. Let's get into it. So this is a question we ask every guest. Who are you and what do you stand for?
Who am I? That is a very good question that I am still trying to figure out.
Respect it.
Okay, and that's the real.
There you go. Respect.
I stand by my duality. I stand by my multifacetedness. I stand by my wellness. And I stand by my family.
La familia.
Yes. Yes. And those are just to name a few.
Respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Nice. So today, well, we invited Kay on here to speak about, like, you know, health and fitness. You know, her health and fitness journey and the importance of it. So, you know, let's just get into it. We got a couple questions written down and stuff like that, but we're gonna go with the vibe.
Big facts. Big
you know
facts.
What I mean?
You know how we do.
So, I mean, the first point is how important is health and wellness to you?
So, it's 1000% important to me. I like to think of health and wellness within itself as the essential wellness theory, right? And what does essential mean? Absolutely necessary, right? So I think that it's a lifestyle that I have to carry 100% in everything that I do. And there has to be wellness in your career. There has to be wellness in your family life, your friendships, your relationships in general. So, and all those have to be healthy, right?
Pretty much everything.
Absolutely. Nothing is perfect.
Absolutely.
But you should always strive for health in everything that you do.
I like that. Yeah. So look, we fast forward a little bit. Talk about your health journey, like your journey to health and wellness. When did that start and why did it start?
Okay, so I started in 2020. Remember, we were all sitting at home.
Right.
It was the pandemic. And my mom hired a trainer. She hired a personal trainer, and my mom's always been active. She did judo in DR. She was on the Olympic team.
Okay.
Judo.
Yes,
Judo. Martial arts?
Yes.
Yeah, shout out Mom Duke.
Yes. Right, literally. So she's always maintained a very healthy lifestyle, doing yoga, hot yoga, and things like that. But she hired a personal trainer, and her name was Larissa. I'll never forget. And I said, you know what? Let me hire a personal trainer. I'm gonna invest my money. I started making a little bit more money too. I got a new job, and I could afford a personal trainer. And that's another thing. Investing in your health is huge. That some people think it goes here, and it's like, no. Sometimes you need to make that investment. And I decided to do that. And we started doing our sessions maybe about 3 to 5 times a week. And I just noticed a shift and I realized how much I needed her during that time, especially in the pandemic. We're at home, things have slowed down a bit, and it really put me in a space where I realized that I needed to take myself seriously, and I needed to make a change, right? I'm short, right? And I've always been on the heavier side. And I said, you know what? I'm not comfortable in my body. I don't feel comfortable in my body. I don't feel healthy. I can barely run a mile, right? And all those things really started settling in with me. And you don't really realize how crucial that is until you meet somebody who kind of hits you in the face and kind of stops you, and who's a professional at highlighting those things for you. So she was heavy inspiration for me, and also myself, kind of prioritizing myself.
Loving yourself.
Yes, loving myself.
Self-love, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's nice. So how was the starting process of your fitness journey? Because I know personally, when you first start working out, it's very challenging, and sometimes it's hard to find motivation, especially when it's hard to do. So how was your process, just starting out, and then how long did it take you to get comfortable with just exercising and being consistent?
So again, back to Larissa, I think that I needed help, and I say this in the most humbling way. I needed somebody to hold my hand, and I needed somebody to educate me on things that I was doing wrong, and also things that I had to come to terms with, right? So I had to learn accountability. Am I waking up in the morning? Am I eating right? Am I surrounding myself with the right people? And are there habits that I need to let go? So those were, I think, the toughest things that I had to start with, right? Because it's a complete 360 that you do once you start getting into health and wellness. And starting wasn't easy, right? It wasn't easy. You take these photos and you look at yourself and you're like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, is it ever going to get there? But I had a lot of support from my mom, and being that it was 2020, I have to admit that it was a little easier, right? Because there weren't so many distractions. We were at home, and it was easy for me to continue that routine, waking up at 5 a.m. and training. So the first part, I have to say, I had an advantage. I really did.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, huge blessing.
Yes,
huge
it is.
Blessing.
Yeah.
So talk about the name MachineBodyFit.
Okay.
Talk about that name. Where did that come from?
So I like to really think about hard body.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When you hard body, can we curse?
Yeah.
Okay. That shit is different. You know what I'm saying?
Bring it out.
Yes. And I will say this, because when I look at the human body, and let's imagine somebody, for example, who has a very low body fat percentage. Not saying that this is the ideal way you should look, but let's say you're toned and all of your muscles are at peak, right? And your body is at peak. I think transforming your body and getting it to that level, that is not the easy, it's not the ideal experience. It takes so much mental fortitude to get to that place, and you put your body through so much, right? Your body detoxes, your body goes through so many transformations, and to get it there, it's a machine.
Absolutely.
Literally, it's parts working together to produce a result that you're looking for, and you know that those results are from what the fuck you're doing every day.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's how a machine works. And I like to think about it like that, because people think of fitness, a lot of it it has to do with appearance, right? But your body is literally a machine. What you're feeding it, the gas you're giving it, the oil you're putting in it, all of that works cohesively.
Absolutely.
So I think that was my biggest inspiration, to name my journey MachineBodyFit.
Excellent. I like that.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense. That was excellent.
So, I mean, this is a question too, where like, do you ever feel like satisfied with where you are physically, or do you ever feel like, oh, it's not enough, I gotta keep going hard?
Satisfied? No. I like to think that the sky is the limit, right? Comfort is a slippery slope. And once you start becoming not complacent, but kind of in a place where you feel like, oh, I can kind of be at ease and things like that. Personally, everybody's situation and experience is different in fitness, but personally, I don't feel like I want to become satisfied. Satisfaction is not a comfortable space for me. So I think that me trying to go the extra mile and always trying to see my potential and see where I can go and take myself is where I keep that consistency. And I think that's really what keeps me on the right track, is knowing that there is no peak for me.
Absolutely.
And knowing that
There's
I
no
can
ceiling.
Exactly. So I like to think about it that way. But it does get hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
you do retract.
Yes. Yeah.
You do get to spaces. You do enter spaces where you're like, there's some months where you are going to be heavier than you were last month. But I think that understanding to keep going and to not be satisfied, and understanding that, hey, these things happen, but I have to keep movement.
Big facts.
I have to keep moving.
Big fact.
Beautiful. And follow up with that question. I'm sorry, I'm standing.
No, you good, man.
Yeah, bro.
Do you, man? I'm just cool, man. I'm asking my questions. It's all good.
There's well, I know it plays a part, but I want you to kind of like get into it with fitness, as far as exercising and keeping your body active, it playing a role in your mental health.
Okay.
Definitely just chime in on that and how you feel about that.
Okay. So I will say, and I have to be transparent, that my journey, also to go back to your question, did start from a very, very dark place, right? When it came to where my mental state was.
Absolutely.
And I think that me trying to find peace in working out and leaving it all at the gym was huge for me. And it doesn't, people mistake sometimes fitness for being, oh, I just gotta go to the gym, I just gotta do this and just make it happen. No, a lot of these things can be your therapy. Yoga can be your therapy, right? You're meditating. But also a Pilates class, a dance class, these things is stimulation that is feeding your brain, and it has worked for me exactly like that. Even times where I wake up and I say, oh my God, I don't feel like going today. But I guarantee you that when I leave the gym, I feel 10 times better than when I went, when I first got there. I'm like, you don't have that motivation all the time, but it literally produces the chemicals in your body to make you feel better.
There you go.
So,
that's real talk.
Yeah.
Just to share real quick, like how she's describing that. It was a point where I was like training like with boxing, not like professionally or nothing like that, but just for fitness purposes and stuff. And like I literally would get, for that hour or hour and a half of training, I would get lost. Like nothing else mattered, nothing else was important. Like I was just zoned in, and it felt so satisfying. I'd be tired as hell, like sweating, dripping sweat, and I'd be like my body, my mind, everything would be so satisfying. So it definitely plays a role. Bro.
So let me ask you this, how's your eating habits? Like, what do you eat in the morning when you first wake up, your lunch and your dinner?
So, there's been, so y'all know, I am Dominicana.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Rice was so heavy in my diet. So heavy. I want to start there.
Okay.
Right? Because it was my biggest sacrifice. Not eating carbs. And developing a better relationship with food. And I think that me shifting my mindset into just eating cleaner, right? I was overthinking it a lot when I first started. Okay, I have to cut, I need to count my calories, I need to go get a scale. That works for some people, but it didn't work for me.
Absolutely.
So I started portioning my carbs a little bit smaller and making the greens on my plate, you know,
a little more
bigger. Yeah, and protein and things like that. But that is a very big arena that we can get into as well. But I think that me trying to cut dairy, hydrate,
for sure.
Because dairy does have a lot of fat in it.
Sure.
But particularly my body does not respond well to dairy. So cutting out those things, fast food and things like that, sometimes our culture does contribute to the habits that we have. But isolating those things and prioritizing what's going to fuel my workout is what I had to prioritize and put up front. Yeah, because it's consequences. If you go eat that Chick-fil-A, you will feel that Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't have like cheat days, like you reward yourself, like, you know, I went hard in the gym, I'm going to give me a Chick-fil-A sandwich, just a waffle fry, something like that.
Everything in moderation.
Okay, yeah.
Everything in moderation. Things, you don't have to cut out everything. But I did have to go cold turkey because my relationship with food wasn't the best.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you find yourself overindulging.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, because you don't get it. That satisfaction isn't there. So when you do get it, you're like, okay, I need it. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit more.
I'm telling you, just keep on going.
It takes years to get to that point where you have that discipline to say, I just need a piece of the cake.
That's it.
Of an eighth of the cake.
Big facts.
And I'm good.
Big fact.
They say you take 3 chews. That's it.
That's
you know what I'm
all
saying? Like, you don't need to eat the whole plate.
They say, don't eat till you full, eat till you satisfied.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
People don't know what that balance
is. Right
there.
They still eat.
Keep it real. Like when you eat too much or when you eat till you're full, it's uncomfortable. I don't like feeling full.
Sluggish. You can't move, can't do anything. Big facts.
Definitely. So. What keeps you motivated to get up and like go for it when you go to the gym and stuff? Because I know personally, like, it's hard to stay consistent, especially, you know, you got a full work schedule. You know, you got a lot going on. So what keeps you motivated and keeps you going?
So when I wake up, right, I give myself no more than 5 minutes to make that decision, right? And in that decision, in those 5 minutes, you know what I'm thinking about?
What you think about?
All the consequences that I'm going to have if I don't get up and go do this workout. And I'm also, once I think about those, I think about the results and the rewards that I'm going to get from getting up and serving my body.
Respect.
You know what I mean? So it's not the motivation. It's the consistency. The motivation isn't going to be there every day.
Yeah, big facts.
That's a fact, man.
That's a
it's
fact.
Really
man.
not.
That's a fact.
And that's something that you have to just know, and you have to really think about that and say, today every day you're not going to wake up feeling like Superman or Superwoman. You're not. And that's, life happens, and sometimes you just have to think, damn. And at the end of the day, that workout gonna make you feel better. The same thing we're saying. You know what I'm saying? Yes, give yourself your rest days, but I think that's what really keeps me motivated. Understanding how far I've come, and that I don't want to go back.
Big facts.
You know, I've lost like 30 pounds. You know, 35 pounds over the last 2 years. And thinking about putting all that on and being insecure because I'm not comfortable in my body, all of those consequences are fucking heavy. You know, not to, you know, women are very body conscious. Not to say men aren't, but you know, society these days, our standards are.
You already know.
Come on. You know
what I mean? Not saying that they shouldn't be, but it's society is hard on women when it comes to body image.
Body shape.
Yes, of course. So thinking of, and not saying that those are the center of my thoughts, but thinking about how I would feel if I don't dedicate that time to myself is what keeps me motivated.
Big fact. That's respect, man. That's amazing. Heck yeah.
Well, real
Yeah,
quick,
go ahead.
I like what you said. Like serving your body. Don't look at that fitness as doing something extra. It's serving your body.
Big
That's a
fact.
beautiful
That's all it is.
statement right
Yes.
there. For sure.
Challenging your body like a car, man. You know, so you gotta make sure you put that proper gas in that car and keep it
12.
going. I'm telling you, keep it going.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: what type of gym environment do you have? Well, you really doesn't matter. Like you have a certain type of area. You have your music. Like how does it go, man? Because a lot of people don't get started because they go to the gym. They like, you know, I can't do this. I'm discouraged. I'm gonna leave. Or
Some people got anxiety.
Exactly. See all the people around. They don't want people looking at them. Like, what can you say about that for the people that suffer with stuff like that? Like, just feel a little nervous and stuff about going to the gym.
Yes. So I do want to make the disclosure that nobody is worried about you at the gym. I promise you, 99% of the time, no one is worried about you.
If anything, they worry about themselves.
Yes. And they're thinking the same thing you're thinking. Is, you know, even that super buff guy, he's worried. He's making sure everybody's looking at him. You know, it's definitely a singular experience, and you have to maintain that at your forefront, in your frontal lobe, and honestly, I will say, let's talk about the positive and negative aspects of a gym environment, right?
Talk about it.
So for me, my fitness journey started very isolated. It was just me and my trainer. So a lot of the attention and focus was on me, and I feel like that is really good for you to start with, because you tune into yourself, you kind of get into your own little quirks and kind of things that make you feel happy, whether it's a playlist, whether it's you know, a certain podcast or YouTube that you're, you know, YouTube video that you're watching. Setting up your own type of space in isolation helped me a lot.
Absolutely.
I highly recommend that.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes those big environments are very intimidating. It is what it is.
For sure.
You know,
Most
you
definitely.
can't just say like, oh, just think about yourself. I definitely understand that it's not that easy. So starting in isolation helps a lot. And sometimes like you go over to a machine, you're like, I don't really know how to use this machine. Go learn how to use that machine by yourself. Come in, know what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Kind of set yourself up for success.
Big fact.
You know? Yeah. So definitely do that. I highly recommend that. Negatives. Talking on the phone at the gym. I had that problem with my friends a lot, right? And not being focused and them not being tuned into the workout. Don't go to the gym with your friends if you know they don't have the same mindset that you have, because they will talk you out of doing that extra set. Or, you know, just the peeps. Your experience is your own gym experience. You're there for your own reasons. And if you do not have that locked and down packed, the distractions will pour in, and it's just not going to be the same, right? So making sure that environment is curated for you to do your best is my like number one recommendation. Yeah.
The real.
I'm gonna dip in a little bit on the gym topic, right? What do you think is like proper gym etiquette in the sense of like just well, you said like not talking on the phone and stuff, but like wardrobe. You know, wardrobe too, but more so like I've noticed like in the gym sometimes like people kind of like try to draw too much attention to themselves, or like they kind of like hover around people, you know, things that are just kind of like uncomfortable, or just kind of like watching a little too much, like you know what I'm saying, especially the you know, the women, like like bro, like when I'm in the gym I try to like, you know, just kind of like be focused. I don't want to try to do too much looking around and stuff, because I don't want to ever make somebody else feel uncomfortable, because I feel like like
for sure,
so, like you know, what are your thoughts on like, you know, proper gym etiquette and like, you know, how people should conduct themselves and stuff?
I think it goes vice versa too. You know, women will stare, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh wow, you know, and it goes vice versa. So I don't want to isolate men in that, but I do think like the top ones practice the same etiquette you practice everywhere else. The gym is not the place you want to go and start feeling cocky, right? I mean, they have that lunk alarm at Planet Fitness for a reason, even though
what is that?
It's like a fake alarm where people come in and they have like tank tops on and they're drinking out of a gallon water bottle or something. They have that mission statement at Planet Fitness to make it a more kind of comfortable environment for people who are coming into their fitness journeys and things like that. But not to say, but places like Gold's Gym is the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's going into that gym kind of already a part of the same altitude in their fitness journey, right? They're at peaks. Planet Fitness, people are kind of starting out, right? So there are different type of environments that cater to certain type of communities depending on your level in fitness. But I think that, you do have to be mindful of yourself. I always wipe down my equipment. I make sure that I am very aware of my personal space and public space. I put my equipment back, right? And I think that you really just have to make sure that you're treating the gym space as your own space. If you are, cleanliness is next to godliness.
There you go, talk to
right? So you have to, I maintain that everywhere I go. And that goes for manners as well, right? Yeah, interactions.
Side note, I ran into Kay at the gym at Planet Fitness, right? In Silver
Planet
Spring.
Fitness and One Life.
Yeah, she recognized me. I was like, oh hey.
we elevated.
I was so caught off. Yeah, I was so caught off guard because like I'm so used to like trying to like be low key and just like I don't, for some reason I don't like running into people I know at the gym.
Yeah.
Well, it was pleasant.
He did hit me with them.
But it was a pleasant running both times.
Let me ask you, what's some of the things you don't like about working out?
Trying new workouts, right?
Sure.
It's the one thing that I have challenges with the most, and it's the one thing I love the most too, right? Taking my body to a new level, right? And trying that new workout, sometimes you fail, sometimes you won't get in as many reps as you want to, but that is something that I hate so much because it's like, damn, this is going to humble you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's hard to do that because you get so used to going in and doing your normal routine, which I do recommend for, at least 6 months, keeping the same consistent routine. But once you're ready to start something new, it's always like a new territory and you're like, damn, can my body go to that level? And it's a scary thing sometimes. And I also, what else do I not like about working out? Sometimes I don't like cardio. Cardio gets hard sometimes. It does. But yeah, I see it all as a challenge. I don't really see it as things I don't like.
Respect. Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Off camera, we asked if you did any training yourself. Let's get into that. Do you train people?
Yes, I do personal training at MachineBodyFit.
Okay. Yeah.
And yes, I've been training for maybe about 2 years now. And it's been a beautiful experience. And while I am still learning a lot in the personal training world, I will say that it has already taught me so much about relationships. You have to show up and show out every single fucking time. It is not something where you come in and you're lenient and you are that person's accountability partner. And you have to show up for them. You have to show up for yourself. And sometimes you have to be a mean girl. I have to be a mean girl sometimes. And I think that was my hardest lesson in training, is really putting my foot down with my clients and making sure that they were understanding that this is a commitment. You know, you're paying for this. This is time that's being spent, and we want to maximize it, right? And those conversations are not easy. Sometimes I've trained my friends too, and we've had to have hard conversations. Like, yeah, you my homegirl, but get your shit together. Get your fucking shit together. Yeah. And that has been beautiful in itself too, right? And I think that me and my clients learn together as well. So it's still in evolution, but I know it's gonna be great. It's gonna take off.
Respect.
What do you feel like makes you stand out as a trainer in comparison to, like, and no disrespect to any trainer, especially not the ones in the gym, but like, you know, just the average trainer that's probably just working at the gym, and, you know, like, what makes you stand out as a trainer?
So the top two might be, I don't believe in pre-workout. We're not doing pre-workout.
Straight to
hard body.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is what it is. And I don't believe in green powders and things like that. No, I am all natural. I want you to push your body in its organic state, and everything we do is going to be organic, right? Fitness is fitness, right? But a lot of it, maybe, you know, 80% of it, 70% of it is what you put in your body. And I really believe in all natural and all organic. And I think that that's something that really makes me stand out, because I'm gonna gas that shit. I'm gonna make sure you understand. It's not something where we're gonna cut corners and cut creases and do steroids.
We're gonna get into that. You said you don't like bodybuilding, so talk about that, because you got the body structure. You know what I'm saying? So talk about why you don't really like bodybuilding that much.
Well, it's not that I don't like bodybuilding. I don't really want to think of it as I don't think that I'm personally interested in doing bodybuilding. I like to maintain, and this is not something that, because there are a lot of stigmas around you know, women who are overly muscular or super defined and things like that, because their bodies are beautiful as well. But I am very curvy, and I do like a little cushion. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you
go ahead.
When you get to that, you guys. I mean, we're being real.
Yeah, it's the real podcast.
It's the real.
Keep it all the way.
I got in my mind with one of my friends to say, like, more cushion for the push-ups.
You got a nice figure and all that. Yeah, you straight.
And I do want to be comfortable, and I want to feel good about myself. And I will never forget, there was a time, it felt like a compliment, and it also felt kind of uncomfortable. There was a guy who was sitting next to me in a restaurant, and I had on a tank top, and I was at a very low body fat percentage at this point in time. And he looked over, he was kind of, you know, built himself, and he said, "Damn, you're fucking jacked," right? And right. So I was kind of happy, right? Because I felt proud of myself. I was like, yeah, you know, like I be putting in that work. But at the same time, and then, guys, no lie, this was when I was working at P14 on 14th. I came interaction with so many people then, and one person told me, he was like, "You look like you beat on people." Right? Bruh. Literally! It was...
I toss you up.
And I felt...
There you go.
No, you know what he was trying to do? I think he was trying to flirt. That's what he was trying to do. Yeah, you ought to know the game. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, when you are... Not to say that I was uncomfortable in my own skin at that time. Because
new territory for you.
Yeah, it was, and it was kind of shocking that the outside world was looking at me like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my God, do I not look feminine? Have I lost, you know? And yes, many people, because people on the internet will attack women who have these super defined bodies and say, ew, you look masculine, or ew, you look muscular, and things like that. And I don't want to say that it is that, but I do have a certain way that I am comfortable with, and I don't think that bodybuilding is the level that I will feel comfortable in my skin at.
Respect.
That's nice. Yeah. A little bit of a funny question. Do guys try to like come to you, like holler at you in the gym? Like, how does that feel? If you don't mind answering the question.
Yeah. Yes, all the time.
Cause it'd be funny, like
I would know.
All the time. And I just I don't feel comfortable, and I think that that's your personal time and your personal space. And it's a right time and right place for everything.
Big facts.
And I think that some people just don't have that discernment, which I hope all guys are aware of. It's a woman's personal time, at least a woman like myself. It's my personal time, and again, wrong time, wrong place, right time, right place for everything. So.
I like that.
nice.
Respect. Classy way to answer that. Yeah. Classy way to answer that.
Yeah.
Respect.
One more question that I had, then I'm gonna give it to T-Tat.
Yeah.
What is the key to discipline, in your own opinion, through your own experiences?
I will say that it's different for everybody, but I think you have to get right inside. Internally, if it's not right inside, externally, it's just not going to show up, right? Mental fortitude and being in solidarity with yourself is like key to making sure that you have good habits and you're maintaining your good habits. For example, it's Howard Homecoming weekend, right? I have set a goal for myself to achieve by December, right? And so that means that a lot of things are gonna have to be skewed within these next 6 to 8 weeks. And I've had people from Guatemala to Peru literally saying like, well, do you want to go out? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do this? And I really have to sit in tune with myself and understand I can do this, but I can't go do this. You know what I mean? We out till 8, okay, I can have 3 drinks, and then I have to go home because I need to be at the gym by 8 a.m.
Big fact.
You know what I'm saying? Those are sacrifices that I'm making.
Telling you.
Right?
Tell you.
So that discipline comes up here first. Yes. And the solidarity. I have to be in solidarity with myself. Am I confident with myself enough to say, or am I comfortable enough with my friends that are going to respect me and say, you know what, Kay, I respect that. Yes, girl, go home. Or are they going to be the people that are like, nah, why you doing that?
You look good. You don't need to go to the gym.
Gotta stand on business.
Yes.
Big fact. All the time.
Yes. That part.
Big fact. Big fact. So on your health and fitness journey, like thus far, like what are you most proud of?
That's a very good question. I think I'm most proud of every way that it has affected my life.
Respect.
It has really put me in a different space. It's a different lifestyle that I carry now. I'm finishing undergrad, right? Finally. Yes, thank you. Guys, I'm so proud of you. Because you see yourself you see so many things come to fruition in yourself that you like, damn, this can grow too. You know what I'm saying? This can grow over here too, and it just starts spreading. And it really just the same thing, and it goes into like, okay, when you go out drinking with your friends, okay, I did too much last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh nah, I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you above anybody or you can't, you know, you tea with your friends every once in a while, but you know, it just really sharpens you up in so many places. And for me, it has been like that ever since I started my fitness journey, because it takes so much to maintain that. and I hold it very close to my heart, and it's very important to me, and I can see that come to light in all aspects of myself and people around me.
I like that, man. Articulate young lady, man.
Yeah,
For real,
beautiful.
man. Very articulate, man.
Beautiful.
Fluent. Yeah.
Right. A couple more questions before we wrap this up, right? What is a piece of advice that you would give to a young person, you know, whether it's fitness or life? It doesn't matter, you know, just something that you would contribute to the youth in a sense, just through advice.
I would say know, and it's hard, know who you are at your core, and whoever that person is, stick beside them. You know what I mean? It's not gonna, nobody is cookie cut, and I think I made that mistake growing up. Right? And I tell this because I'm so proud of this generation. Gen Z is different. Is it Gen Z, the next generation after us?
Gen Z.
They do not give a fuck.
They don't care about nothing.
Nothing.
They don't care about nothing.
Right? And they have taught me. I'm giving them advice. They giving me advice.
Big fact. Man. So much for them, man. I'm telling you, they changed the whole world.
But my nephew, Andy, I remember one time sitting down having a conversation, and I'm just like, well, all right. Heard that.
You go back and forth with
Say no more. Say no more. I have
fact.
complicated things, and I'm speaking for my youth and my family. I have complicated things, and they come in and they're like, but listen, we can do it this way. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to reverse that, and I have to say they have taught me so much. And I say that, I'm like, damn, true. You true to yourself. And stand on that, and never skew yourself for anybody, because you came in the room like that, walk the fuck right back out like that. And especially if it's a healthy, you know, way of being, right? Because some people do need guidance. But and I think that also goes in tune with that. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when people can't find the light, right, is because they're so skewed and there's so many flashing lights and distractions happening that it's very blurry and cloudy inside for them. And they find it hard to get in tune with what's true to them. So I think that that's something that I really instill in people, especially coming from my dual experience in life. I come from two totally different worlds. Finding balance is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And it's the best of both worlds, right? It's beautiful on both sides. But yeah, I think that is something that I would definitely tell you.
Respect. I like that.
And one more to wrap it up.
Man, hey, go ahead. This is his question right here. Go ahead. I'm gonna fall back.
So, you know, I personally, like, and I say this every time, I feel like we're not put here to take from society. We're not, you know, we're put on this earth to contribute and leave things behind. And that's legacy, right? So, you know, most people don't really think of that. And I like to ask that question, like, what's a legacy that you're building, or what's a legacy that you would like to leave here? You know, because it gives people something to think about within themselves. So, you know.
I think Kyrie and I touched on this, my relationship with nature, right? I want to be in harmony with nature. And to be able to say that I have lived a life fulfilled where I am harmonious in my existence with what was already here, not what was manufactured, right? In the best way that I can, whether that is through motherhood, right? Or whether that is through my contribution to society, or the service that I do to people who are younger than me and the next generation. As long as it is harmonious and contributing to their existence in this next lifetime, I'm good.
Big facts.
Nice.
Beautiful. Damn, man.
Beautiful.
I'm good.
I'll tell you.
Shout your
business out, man. Talk to him, man.
MachineBodyFit, Kayla Burchell on all platforms. Follow me. Thank you.
Tap into that, man.
The real.
There go.
Another episode of the motherfucking real.
If you're not on the real, you're not real.
There you go.
Bang.